Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm getting over a cold right now, so please forgive my voice as it's not quite back to normal yet. But today we'll be discussing my new favorite exotic of late, Tarrabah. If you've been around the channel lately, I'm sure you've noticed my recent obsession. For me, Tarrabah hits that rare feeling in Destiny, which an exotic that isn't cheesy or gimmicky, but rather one that rewards you for your time spent with it. It is a lot like another favorite weapon of mine, Hawkmoon. Both guns are good without their exotic perk, but both become total game changers once you meet their conditions. Neither require a kill, making them contenders for 3v3 game modes as well. Come take a walk with me as I break down everything you need to know to start your Tarrabah journey. Tarrabah is a 750 RPM exotic SMG. This archetype of SMG is quite competitive in the Crucible, and Tarrabah is no exception. Two things make this SMG stand above the rest, however. Its zoom and Ravenous Beast. In Destiny, your damage drop-off is tied to your range stat, as well as your zoom stat. Tarrabah boasts a solid 16 zoom, which is the highest base zoom of any SMG in the game. This keeps Tarrabah from experiencing damage drop-off up into 22 meters. For comparison, a 5 out of 5 roll of another popular SMG, Funnel Web, reaches 22 to 23 meters. Tarrabah comes out of the box this good, and that's still not even to mention the best part of the gun, Ravenous Beast. Ravenous Beast states, this weapon stores power when dealing or receiving damage. Hold reload to unleash the beast when full. Now that sounds rather ambiguous, and it kind of is, so I'm going to break it down a little. To build Ravenous Beast charge, you first must deal or receive enough hits to fill the bar across the base of the sights. You can see its progress rather easily by looking down sights here. But I said hits, not damage. This is because, contrary to what the perk states, it is not damage that dictates how much energy is charged, but rather how many hits you dish out or receive. For example, getting body shot by a sniper gives you the same amount of energy as getting shot with a hand cannon. What this means is that you can reliably build up the charge by taking pop shots at people well out of your intended range and continue to build up a charge from safety. Tarrabah takes roughly 20 hits to activate in PvP, and you take about 37 hits before you get active. Obviously, in a gunfight, you will both be trading hits, so this info isn't too important, but it helps you gauge how close you are to your next beast. Note that stowing Tarrabah will make you lose half of your progress towards Ravenous Beast, so be mindful of that. Once you have a full charge, you can unleash the beast by holding reload. This changes Tarrabah's RPM from 750 to 900 and increases its damage to 33 damage per shot, regardless if you hit head or body. This allows you to down any Resilience Guardian in only 6 shots at 900 RPM. It's absolutely absurd. Ravenous Beast also gives you a sprint speed boost same as Stompies or any other movement exotic, as well as max handling and max reload speed. This effect only lasts 5 seconds, but the perk is extended as long as you're dealing damage. So the whole reason to run Tarrabah is to maintain uptime for its perk, and to use it to clutch rounds of trials or go on killing sprees in 6s, which it does very, very well. Side note, running through a Titan barricade does not count towards Ravenous Beast, sadly. Tarrabah used to be the raid exotic for Crown of Sorrow back in Season of Opulence. Unfortunately, this raid has been deprecated, and now the only way to get Tarrabah is to purchase it from the exotic kiosk at the tower. It's going to cost you 240 spoils of conquest, and I believe that this is the main reason you don't see more Tarrabahs out in the wild. You have to grind a lot of raids to get that many spoils, and I feel most people won't be bothered to even try. I hope that by the end of this video, however, you will be convinced to struggle through spoils farming so you can join me in SMG Valhalla someday. Okay, time to get technical on y'all here with some numbers. On screen you can see that Tarrabah does not experience damage drop-off until 22 meters, and from there the drop-off is rather small, so you should be able to duel quite reliably outside its optimal range. This all changes when you have Ravenous Beast procced though, as you can slay out from ludicrous ranges for an SMG. This is something I wanted to touch on briefly, and that is that Tarrabah has armor-piercing rounds. This means that its shots penetrate the target and can shoot what is behind it. And no, that doesn't mean that you can shoot through walls or barricades, but it does mean that you can shoot through one Guardian and hit his friend standing behind him. This lets you build Ravenous Beast even faster, and lets you mow down people clumped together once you get the perk rolling. My general advice here would be to run a sniper alongside Tarrabah. I feel that the nature of the gun is to hold it out and not switch off of it once you have some charge going. Snipers work well at this as they let you engage from further out, get a pick or two, and then move up with Tarrabah from there. Play your cover to close the gap and then shred once you get close enough. After you fill a good amount of your bar, then peek shoot and build up the perk before fully engaging with Ravenous Beast.
Nice. You have it, maybe?
Yeah, just about, see? I have it.
One more. Same spot. Last one on point.
Let's fucking go. Have a good shit.
Flip that for you. Perspective.
This play pattern is tough to get down at first, but it shows off the strengths of Tarrabah if practiced. Alternatively, you can play it like any other SMG and just ignore the perk until you happen upon it after a couple of kills. This works well too, as Tarrabah is a great SMG on its own even without Ravenous Beast, and then it's a nice little surprise when you do manage to get the charge off. For this portion of the video, I'd like to showcase some fun builds I've cooked up for each class to take full advantage of our little Tasmanian devil. Oh yeah, did you know that that's what Tarrabah means? Pretty dope, huh? This is my personal favorite way to use Tarrabah. One of the gun's only downsides is its poor handling stat, but Peacekeepers fixes all of that by giving all SMGs max handling. It also gives us 40 airborne effectiveness, and that tied with Tarrabah's natural 23 allows us to easily fight in the air. These two things alone would make me use Peacekeepers over any other exotic, but they also give us several buffs while our SMG is out. These buffs include 50 mobility, increased sprint speed by 6.25%, increased slide distance by 33%, decreases our SMG aim down sights strafing penalty from 25% to 9%, and will even reload our SMG for us when stowed for 1.3 seconds. Sorry for the info dump there, but it just needed to be stated. Peacekeepers are so good. As for the rest of the build, I will choose either Arc or Void Titan, but for today, I'm sticking to Void for its synergies with Tarrabah specifically. You see, with the Aspect Bastion equipped, we are given an overshield when we drop our barricade. This is nothing new, as I'm sure it's made you want to pull your hair out in the Crucible already, but this allows you to tank more hits and build up Tarrabah more reliably, so get comfortable with the prospect of hate mail, cause it comes a-flowing with this build. Alongside Bastion, I like Controlled Demolition, Suppressor Grenade, and Bubble. I also choose to use Echo of Leeching, Echo of Dilation, and Echo of Domineering. As for mods, we are running your run-of-the-mill SMG mods, but what's important to note is Sniper Holster mod on the legs. These let you pick up special and not have to switch off Tarrabah to reload your sniper. Very nice and very much a necessity in my opinion. Here's one that I was pleasantly surprised by. Now, disclaimer, Ophidian aspects are probably a more meta choice, and I'm not arguing that wings are somehow better, but rather showcasing something that is a fun alternative to what every warlock already has glued to their hands at all times. And I used Ophidians with Tibra, and I liked it quite a bit actually, but I felt the synergies are just more in line with wings, and here's why. So wings gives us 50 airborne effectiveness while we are aimed down sights and airborne, which is awesome and all. But the part that I liked most is that when you're aimed down sights and airborne, you're suspended in the air for a brief moment. And while you're suspended, you have increased damage reduction and flinch reduction. This allows us to stack up Ravenous Beast charge while hitting someone from an awkward or unforeseen angle, and allows us to rack up more damage to build the perk. Now, I personally choose to use Well of Radiance, as it has the fastest cooldown out of the supers. I also like Celestial Fire alongside Ember of Torches, so I can get Radiant more reliably and make getting kills with Tarrabah even easier. I use Healing Nades to help with survivability, which is also why I run Healing Rift. And I can see a world where you may want Phoenix Dive to help get you out of the sky should you get caught off guard, but the cooldown is too great for me to do it reliably. We run Icarus Dash and Heat Rises to keep up the high flyer fantasy. I also choose to run Ember of Solace, Ember of Searing, and Ember of Wonder. These last two are just for the stat boost, so you're free to run others should you see fit. And these are the mods that I'm running. Very similar setup as with the Peacekeeper mods as before. Note, I also like to run Icarus on my Eye of Soul, as when I have Heat Rises active, I have 100 AE with this build, allowing me to have great playmaking opportunities with my sniper. I can feel your hate-fueled comments already, and I know Gerfalcon is kind of notorious for being a dirty way to play, but trust me, everything Gerfalcon is trying to do is everything Tarrabah is trying to do. The 15% damage bonus from Gerfalcon makes your headshot damage 25.5 and allows you to 8 headshot any resilience in the game. This drops your TTK slightly, as well as gives you more forgiveness should you miss. This exotic makes Tarrabah easy mode even before Ravenous Beast comes into play. As for setup, I tend to use Deadfall as my super due to the fast cooldown and ability to shut down wells and trials. Usually I prefer Gambler's Dodge, but with Gerfalcon I want my dodge up as often as possible, so we choose Marksman's Dodge here. I've been digging Suppressing Grenades lately, so this is the nade we'll be using here, but it's not like it has any more synergy with Tarrabah than anything else. It's just fun. Vanishing Step and Trapper's Ambush for optimal invis spam, and I use Echo of Leeching, Echo of Persistence, and Echo of Dilation. As for mods, it is quite similar to the last two builds, just want SMG mods and fastball. I love Tarrabah, and I know it won't be for everyone, and that's okay. My time with this gun has shown me to play different than I'm used to, and to think outside the box more with my engagements and how I approach Destiny as a whole. It makes me think about the decisions I'm going to make more critically, as they have greater impact now. Do I switch to my sniper to engage knowing I'll lose my Ravenous Beast progress? Or do I try and peek shot my way to a full charge and then go off? These choices matter a lot in each engagement, and I'm forced to think deeper than just point and shoot, and I like that. It reminds me why I play Destiny in the first place. I love improving and building upon my skills as a player, and Tarrabah helps me do that. And I hope it'll help you too. Thanks for watching.